Environmental impact of Nigeria's tech ecosystem. Advocates of a greener digital sector have harped on the need for deliberate interventions to mitigate the environmental impact of Nigeria's tech ecosystem. This is arising from concerns of growing carbon footprint from technological processes. In initiating the Scale for Net Zero Transition in Abuja, Aid for Rural Education Access Initiative is worried that ICT sector has received minimum attention, even though it contributes significantly to greenhouse emissions globally. The civil society organization says, through research, capacity development, policy advocacy, and public awareness, it hopes to inspire an eco-friendly digital landscape in Nigeria. Prince Gideon Olariwaju, CEO, Project Manager.
So digital transformations and the rise of remote work has made technology essential to almost every organization's approach. But as research emerges on the environmental impact of technology, the digital sector's role in the climate crisis has come under increased scrutiny. In Nigeria, for example, the National Communications Commission reported that the total greenhouse gas emissions from the energy sector, which is a major enabler of the Nigeria's digital technology ecosystem, is about 34% of the total net greenhouse gases emissions in Nigeria. And that makes that sector the second major contributor of greenhouse gases in the country. Now, evidence have also shown that the technology ecosystem has a growing carbon footprint. And this is from the different emissions that stems from all the life cycle of the technology processes. And this would be from the extraction of raw materials that is used for software and hardware production, various energy that is required to operate and maintain technological products, as well as the disposal of digital waste. But despite efforts to reduce global greenhouse emissions, the ICT industry has received very little attention, even though it contributes significantly to the greenhouse emissions globally. Now, this is the premise upon which this intervention is designed. It is evident that the emissions from the ICT industry would not reduce without major concerted efforts that would involve broad political and industrial actions, and more significantly, a coordinated response that would leverage different kinds of informal approaches that would involve key actions across the whole spectrum of involvement of the ICT sector. And this would involve, innovation hubs, technological startups, data processing centers, and other producers, suppliers, and consumers of digital software and hardware. Therefore, with funding support from the United Kingdom through the Digital Access Program of the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, I, as well as the Area High team, are excited to announce the commissioning and the launch of the Scale for Net Zero program, where Scale stands for Smart Climate Awareness, Learning, and Empowerment. To achieve the objectives of this Scale initiative, we will be leveraging 4 major approaches. 4. The first would be research, the second would be public awareness, the third would be policy advocacy, and most importantly, capacity development. Now, for our research approach, the urgent need to enrich the available evidence on the role that the tech ecosystem and its stakeholders contribute towards digital environmental footprint is why it is important for us to do a research that will enable them to achieve 4 things. The first thing is for them to be able to manage the life cycle analysis of their products and their services. The second thing is for them to be able to adapt approaches so that they can measure the impact of the associated IT assets and data centers. The third thing is for them to be able to innovate around the integration of new measures into either new or old IT processes. And the fourth thing is for them to be able to develop a robust digital environmental KPIs, and then a system for them to determine the environmental impact that comes from both their internal and external production processes. So under our research, we will be producing 2 things. The first thing is we will be producing a peer-reviewed journal article that will be titled Technology-Led National Greenhouse Emission Gases Outlook in Nigeria. And we will support that because it's an academic piece of work. We would support that with a technical and less complicated report on the situational analysis of digital waste contributions and recommendations for net zero transitions in Nigeria.
For public awareness of